Good evening. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Tuesday, August 16th. Little pause in the markets today. Not really unexpected given the nice little run we've had over the last several days. Of course, the excuse, if it isn't getting old, same old Europe yet again. This time we had Germany's GDP report come in at 0.1% versus 0.5% expectations. Really, is there much of a difference between zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.5? It's anemic. It sucks. And has anyone really expected the German economy to sort of ignore what's going on in the rest of Europe and the world? Just silliness. We had an early morning gap down. The futures idiots took us down 100 plus points. We had some very nice little dips on the open, which we haven't seen recently on these big gap downs. And then we had the market recover back, and then throughout the day just slowly plod lower. We had that meeting between the German and the French leaders. Nothing really new came about from it, and we sort of saw the market sell off after that. But really a lack of the craziness we saw over the last couple of weeks. Robots were pretty much MIA today. They had ample opportunity to hammer this market, but never really showed up. Probably those crazy programs either got reprogrammed after the large losses they took last week, or, someone flipped the switch and turned those things off. As for the market, we're looking at the 15-minute chart. Like we said, couple of days consolidation, little backfilling is not to be unexpected given the 800-point bounce we've had in this market since last Wednesday's lows. We got that golden cross yesterday around 11 to 25, and that gave almost a perfect 150-point up move, which is its average. And now, we're just consolidating. We look at the daily chart, you can see more of the same. We have yet to touch that 20-day exponential. And, one thing to keep in mind, check out the MACD. We're looking at possibly getting a MACD maybe within the next couple of days. And the reason I bring that up, the last MACD cross we had was at the June bottom. And as you can see, right as we were about to get that MACD cross, we had 4-day rally. And over the next couple of days, we saw the market ease off. And then we went on that 800-point move. So we could see somewhat similar here. Volume really, really low today, as you can see, compared to what we've been looking at recently. SMH, same story. Also, you're going to see this set up on a lot of stock charts as well. Big down move, rebound, reflex or relief bounce, if you will, after a big sell-off, and then sort of treading water. This is where people who picked up the lows book their small little gains, or this is where people who held through this big tank, they get an initial bounce back and they go, whew, get me the hell out. So that's a lot of what we're seeing right now. Not a whole lot of sellers except for some profit taking. We could see another couple of days of sideways action. And one thing to keep in mind, remember, this is options expiration week, and some crazy things can happen in option expiration weeks. Typically, we see the market move the opposite of the prevailing trend, but when you see a big down move going into an options expiration week, it typically ends up being flat to up. At least that's been my experience over the last several years. So let's see if that comes to pass again. Stock plays, very nice week for us. PPHM, this is a stock we picked up a couple of days ago, $1.20. Hit 170 today for a 40% return. Eased off with the market and, should see some follow through again tomorrow. Volume was very high over the last couple of days. Nice little retrace on this one. Should see a reflex bounce back to the 150s tomorrow. And you can see our target when we jumped into this one, 20-day exponential, hit that plus some. So I'd look for continuation on this one near term. CWTR, retailers doing very well today. Some of the biggest gainers. I mean, the Dow would have been down a whole lot more if it was not for the retailers. Walmart, Home Depot, etc., posting really good earnings report. And on a side note, we had the industrial production number come out today. Highest number in a year. 0.9%. So, everyone keeps discounting this economy. We're anemic, but there is a lot of growth out there. Remember, we've got billions and billions and billions of Fed QE2 liquidity floating around, and then we also have that huge M2 money supply explosion that the Fed has gone on over the last several weeks. So we've got all that money bubbling away in the economy right now. It takes a while to get it working. And, if we just go back and look at where we were a year ago, I mean, almost identical. Last year, 16% drop in the S&P 500 from the highs. This year, 17%. Bottomed in August this year, in my opinion, as well. So I think we've got some nice indicators saying that the next few months are going to be nice to the upside. That doesn't mean we're going to go balls to the wall crazy just yet. We're still maintaining our high cash stance, 90% plus overnight, pick up dippers, take small gains. I would even add to that a time frame on plays. Typically in a really good market, we are going to swing plays for a week to 3 weeks max. Right now, I would keep a time or a shelf life of 2 to 5 days max. If you've got a play, doesn't move after 5 days, move on, wait for it to break a technical level, and then buy back again is probably how I would approach this market. Again, we're still doing half positions. CWTR, retailer, I still like this one. Again, sell off, bounce, retrace today. I like the action. I think we're going to see him move up to that 120 level shortly. OPWV, we jumped into this one yesterday, all over the place. One thing I do not like about today is heavy volume sell-off. Now, you can view this as two ways. A fund threw in the towel today and swapped shares. Even though it traded 8.6 million shares, it was within a pretty tight range. So it looks like it was probably an arranged sell. One of two things are going to happen. We're going to retest that low, and we possibly saw that today, a double bottom. Or, we saw all the selling pressure that's been holding the stock is gone now, and we could see that move up over the next several weeks. Even though we had that selling, all the indicators are still deeply oversold in this one. If you're still sitting in OPWV, $1.16 stops on this one, really, it would be fantastic if this one treaded water in this 120 to 130 range for a couple of days before moving higher. SOMX, this one just sucked. Plain and simple. Exact same setup that we had and all the other big bio movers like PPHM. Had a price target adjustment today by one of the analysts following it, Jeffries. And, I should look back on my notes. What's funny is if you looked at level 2 on SOMX today, you know who was on the ask all day long selling this stock? JEFF. That is the market maker for Jeffries. So these guys come out, $2.50 price target on it. They're selling it hand over fist all day long. Volume is really, really heavy. Sniff, sniff. Don't like it. Brokers are crooked, plain and simple. And, I should have gone back to my original, long-held belief. Ignore all analyst ratings on stocks under $5, plain and simple. I mean, we ignore them over $5, but you absolutely ignore them on stocks under $5. So that's it, really. We're sort of in a holding pattern, looking for small intraday moves before we start swinging long. What we really need to see on the market is, a couple of days of consolidation and, gold. We need gold to get taken to the woodshed. Gold closed at an all-time high today. It's just below its intraday high of 1,800. So, if we pull up the GLD chart, this is where all these funds and gold bugs are clamoring for. Would love to see this one double top tomorrow and make a plunge down to that 164 20-day exponential. We see that happen. We've got a very good chance of getting 400 to 500 points upside on the Dow. So that's it for the video tonight. Any questions, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Good night.